Hello, welcome to another video tutorial with Kukui Capital. Now in this video tutorial, we're going to be talking about our stock investing tutorial series, and this is a video series where we'll be discussing the basics, but it's quite an extensive video tutorial series and it's broken up into several parts. And in this particular video tutorial, it's just a short cover of what you can expect in the first part of our video tutorial series regarding stock investing. Our other video tutorial series will become more complicated, more advanced as soon as the basic skills have been acquired from people watching the video tutorial series, but we'll let you know. But right now, this is basically our level 1 and our introduction to stock investing. So as we're based in South Africa, we're mainly going to be focused on investing on stocks that are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. However, you do have access to invest in stocks listed on the New York Stock Exchange, even from South Africa. So you can buy stocks that are listed in the New York Stock Exchange, stocks such as stocks in companies like Amazon or Google. So we'll also be discussing that further along the line in our other video tutorial series. And then also we're going to be discussing investing in this particular part, and then in our second part, which is another series within the video tutorial series, is going to be about trading, and those are two different things, and we'll touch on that. And then we're going to go through analysis, execution, and the difference between stocks and CFDs, which is CFDs means contracts for difference. So as I've already mentioned, we are trading. We are going to be focusing on stocks listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, investing in those stocks. And stocks that are listed on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange are stocks like Clicks, Woolworths, Pick n Pay. Those are stocks that you can find on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. However, as I've mentioned, you do have access in South Africa to also purchase stocks that are listed on the New York Stock Exchange, and we'll also be discussing that in further details along the line in other video tutorial series. And then the market is not a 24/7 market, so if you are a forex trader, you must be aware that the stock market is only open during certain times in South Africa. That's between 9 and 5, and there's a 15-minute delay on most brokers, unless you pay extra premium prices to have exact execution. So the 15-minute delay means that most of the time you can only start executing in the market from 9:15 and 4:45. That's when you can place your last trade, and after that you won't be able to execute any further trades, and you can only execute open buy and sell trades during those trading hours, and the market is open between Monday and Friday, so you can't purchase or sell any stocks during the weekend. So when we speak about investing, it's different to trading. Now, when it comes to investing, you're thinking about long term. So if you invest in the stock market, you're thinking of holding that position for the next 5 or 10, 12, 20 years. So it's a very long-term game, and you definitely want to pick a stock or a stock in a company that is going to perform and excel in that long-term period. So you're looking for a company that has a lot of value and potential for growth, and that would lead to its stock price increasing. And then trading is more short-term. If you trade, you can trade within a day. You can close and open positions, or within a couple of days or in a couple of hours, and it's a different strategy because you're not really looking or focusing on the long-term performance or capability of the company, but whether it can increase or decrease in the time that you're shooting for. So it requires different skills, and we will have a video tutorial series where we discuss trading in the stock market, and we'll be discussing strategies in this video tutorial series, while in this one we're going to be focusing on investing and the skills required to identify stocks in the stock market that would be good investments. Now, analysis, there's different types of analysis, but the two that we'll be focusing in this video tutorial is technical analysis and fundamental analysis. So I would say technical analysis is focusing on what the charts are telling us, while fundamental analysis is like peeling away the onion. So we look at a company. Now in our first part, our basic part, we're going to be looking at different examples, and we're going to be using those to demonstrate the skills that we're going to be teaching you. And what's going to be happening is, as a disclaimer, whatever stocks we do mention doesn't mean that we're saying you should purchase them or you shouldn't purchase them, or we're just using them for the purpose of an example. So I'm just putting that out as a disclaimer. And the first stock that we're going to be looking at, just for the purpose of demonstrating the skills that we learn is Woolworths. So we'll be peeling the onion away for Woolworths and looking really at how profitable and how much of a good investment it will be in the long run, and that's in our next video tutorial. And then technical analysis confirms whatever we found in our fundamental analysis. Now, under fundamental analysis, we're also going to be discussing different theories about the stock market, such as the Dow theory and other theories. We're going to be discussing that, and also we're going to be using security analysis, value investing principles. So we're going to be looking for companies that offer us value, because if they offer and have value to offer, that means 10 years from now they're going to be a very valuable investment and they're going to deliver a great return. And sometimes the companies that offer the best investments are not the big name brands, so that's why we're going to be using different examples of companies you're familiar with and establishing whether they're a good investment or not. The next thing we'll be discussing is execution. So once you have identified a stock that you believe is profitable and will be a good investment, we'll be showing you how to start buying and selling stocks on the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. And there are different ways you can do this. Now, depending on whether you choose to invest and purchase stocks or CFDs, you can use different brokers to execute buys and sells. And obviously, you're going to be looking for the broker that is the simplest to use and has the lowest commission fee. Now, I keep mentioning CFDs. So CFDs just stands for contract for difference, and it's similar to a stock, but it's not a stock. So what happens is with CFDs, you don't get own. Now, before I jump the gun, let me just explain what stocks are. So stocks are basically ownership in a company. You get a certain percentage, you buy some stocks, and based on how the performance of that company does, that stock that you own either rises or decreases. So with CFDs, you can have a CFD for a company like Amazon, but if you own the CFD, you don't own the actual stock. What the CFD does is it mirrors the performance of the stock, so you still get the benefit of how that stock performs if you place a buy or if you place a sell, which is much easier with CFDs. It's much harder to put short positions on stocks, and we'll be discussing the difference between long and short positions in our video tutorial series. But what happens with CFDs, if you own CFDs, you don't have any ownership in the actual company like if you have stocks. So obviously, if you had, let's say, billions of dollars and you went and bought 1 billion shares in a company that had you've bought 1 billion shares and could buy now 50,000 shares in a company that has 80,000 shares, that means you'd own 5 out of 8 of the company. That's a strong percentage, and you'd also have voting rights because you own such a huge percentage, and you could in effect change the board. But if you owned 1 billion of CFDs in that company, you would not have any voting rights. Even if you purchased CFDs valued at $1 billion, you would not be able to have voting rights or any ownership in that company. So that would be the difference. But obviously, that's not really a huge issue for us because we're not looking for ownership in companies. We're looking more of benefiting and profiting from the companies. But yes, if you have thousands of more billions actually, and you invest in a particular company and you end up owning a substantial percentage of that company, you do get voting rights and board rights and all those benefits to a company if you purchase a certain substantial amount of shares. But that will require billions, and our focus is just profiting from the performance of the stock in a company we've identified to be profitable. Now, the benefit of CFDs is they're much cheaper than stocks. So you see that especially if you want to start trading in the stock market, it would be a better idea to trade CFDs than to trade stocks, because it's much cheaper and CFDs are easier to take a short position. So a short position allows you to profit from the market when it's going down. So that would be the benefit of trading CFDs. So we basically covered what are the fundamental things we will be discussing in our part A, our beginner's introduction to stock investing. So we thank you for watching, and we have a link to our next video tutorial. We're going to start with some fundamental analysis, and we're going to be using the skills, applying them consistently to different stocks. And as you can see, we've really reduced the time of our video tutorials by half, making every video tutorial series 10 minutes. And I would just like to say that make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this video tutorial. Please give us a thumbs up. And the bigger picture of these video tutorials is that we want to get feedback from everybody so that we can build a very substantial and comprehensive financial literacy course that will be available online. So your feedback will be much needed and appreciated so that we can build a really useful online course. And thank you for watching, and have a wonderful day.